against the Tyler Heat.
Okay.
And if you remember, the Tyler Heat was Fruitvale's homecoming opponent last year, and the Tyler Heat came in and spoiled homecoming.
Put the heat on them.
Put the heat on them.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I'm sure that has been mentioned to the Fruitvale players more than once this week, and I'm sure they're going to come out very inspired to play a very good game. So we wish the Bobcats well as they go for their third victory in a row Friday night.
And I'm going to say it will have been a while since they've won 3 in a row over there. So good,
I would think
for
so.
them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We wish them well.
They're doing good work over there.
Well, I believe it's time to take our first break, and the Mayor and Queen Bee, I know, wants to recognize some of our Friday night football broadcast sponsors.
You bet.
So, Queen Bee, I'll turn it over to you at this time.
Okay, well, let's start out with our Platinum Season sponsors. Of course, we have the Silver Spur Resort, where we are tonight. They have a wedding venue, KOA Campground, Q and Brew Restaurant, escape room, and more. Look on the web at silverspurresort.com. The Silver Spur Resort is located on 35 acres, just minutes from First Monday Trade Days. Durham's Roost, which is their bed and breakfast, is now open from Thursday to Monday to host vendors and guests of the trade days. We have Wills Point Ford and Wills Point Chevrolet. And this is the only locally owned car dealership servicing Van Zandt County and beyond for over 30 years. Whether you're looking for a Ford or a Chevy, Wills Point Ford and Wills Point Chevrolet invites you to come do business with their family. WillsPointFord.com and WillsPointChevrolet.com. Well, we have the First State Bank of Ben Wheeler, a true Texas community bank owned and operated since 1911. Their mission is to always provide superior service because this is home, and home is where we strive to make a difference. And I want to say hi, Randall. Brookshire's, for quality, convenience, and service. Visit your local Brookshire's. We have low-price produce, hand-cut meat, and easy meal solutions. Check out their online shopping. Curbside pickup and drive-through prescription services are just some of the great services they offer customers every day. And I'd like to remember to mention that we have a Brookshire's in Wills Point, Grand Saline, Van, and Wills Point. Then we have all-around AC heating and refrigeration. Family-owned with a satisfaction guarantee and flat-rate pricing. All-Around AC has a reputation for integrity unmatched in East Texas. allaroundac.com. And then we have game day sponsors. You want to hear those?
Go ahead.
Okay. Collision of the Week is brought to you by Bob's Collision Center, and they'll be announcing that player here in just a little bit. And from those fender benders to any paint and body repair on your truck or car or truck needs, see our friends at Bob's Collision Center. Give them a call at 903-567-1148 or stop by at 28076 State Highway 64 in Canton. That's on your way to Myrtle Springs. Or 813 West Mason Street in Maybank. That's Bob's Collision Center. And again, he's sponsoring the Collision of the Week. We have First Downs, Gary's Car Wash. Don't drive around in a dirty car. Clean up your act at Gary's between the Veterans Memorial and the fire station. They're located at 1300 Trade Day Boulevard in Canton. Tell Gary thanks for sponsoring high school football on the beat and for that perfect gift. Shop at his wife's store, The Registry, right next to Ace Hardware in Canton. Timeouts are sponsored by Elliott Law Firm. Joe Elliott and the Elliott Law Firm in Canton, providing everything from family or criminal law to personal injury and everything in between. Joel works to protect the best interest of his clients with ethics, courtesy, and caring personal attention. First quarter, Hall Chevrolet Buick GMC. Go by and see Monty Hall for your best deal on cars, SUVs, and work trucks at Hall Chevrolet Buick GMC in Canton, just west of the square. Second quarter sponsor is Slide and Bounce, a full-service family-owned inflatable and party rental company serving East Texas. From inflatable bounce houses to water slides, Slide and Bounce has it all. And see them on the web at snbrentals.com. Third quarter sponsor is Elevate Student Success in Canton. Elevate Student Success offers homework help for 1st through 12th grades 2 nights a week. And they have specialized services for students with dyslexia, ADHD, and processing problems.
Well, I got processing problems.
maybe you should go
Is there
get
an
some
age
help
limit to
twice a
sign up
week.
over there?
I don't think so. I
bet
don't
they
think
could help
so.
me.
That's
Okay.
elevatestudentsuccess.com or call them at 1-800-867-7602. They're right across the street from Canton Elementary, and that's on Buffalo Street, 1164 in Canton. And finally, fourth quarter, Hall Chevrolet Buick GMC again. Go by and see Monty Hall for your best deals on cars, SUVs, and work trucks at Hall Chevrolet Buick GMC in Canton, just west of the square. That's hallbuickgmc.com. That's it for my part.
All right. Well, I have some sponsors I'd like to
Well,
recognize
good.
as well.
Let's hear them.
I do say it so. We are brought to you by City National Bank with 3 locations in Van Zandt County. Wills Point is 903-873-4157. Grants-Ling 903-962-7588. Canton 903-567-9100.
We are.
That's
Sponsored.
right.
Thank you.
And we are also want to say thank you to Ramsey's Roadhouse, Angus Burger Steak, Specialty Hot Wings, 903-560-8214, located at 505 North 4th Street in Wills Point. We're brought to you by Spitzer Home Cleaning Services, Jessica Spitzer, at 903-275-6694. We're brought to you by Robertson Electric, with locations in Wills Point and Terrell. Wills Point, 903-873-2461. Terrell is 972-563-5254. Commercial and residential air conditioning and heating service, free estimates. We're also brought to you by Express Tire and Wheels. New and used tires, custom wheels, flat repair. 903-873-8856. Located at 732 Houston Street in Wills Point. We're brought to you by the Rick Johns State Farm Insurance Agency, 100 North 4th Street, Wills Point, 903-873-2858, Auto, Home, Life, and Health. We're brought to you by Van Zandt Farm and Ranch at 118 East Main Street in Van, 903-963-3651. They have feed for horses, dogs, cattle, chicken, wild bird, pig, fish. They also have gardening items, seeds, and fertilizers, organic feeds available. And we're brought to you by Austin Bank, member FDIC, with locations in Van and Grants-Ling. I'm David Barber, Van Zandt News Sports Correspondent, joined by T.A. Hale from the Buzz Brothers, Joel Elliott, the counselor, the engineer, Ken, is with us, the mayor and Queen Bee, Lou Ann Everett, and Holly is in the building as well. Hello, Holly. Holly is in the house. Engineer Ken, is it time to talk about?
It is a drawing.
Time for some drawings.
All right, if I could have everybody's attention in the house. That's what I'm eager. Somebody like that. All right, so first up tonight is an Arctic water bottle donated by the First State Bank of Ben Williams. And the ladies are doing the drawing. The Queen Bee has the card. Somebody calls us a football game.
Yeah, this is going to be official because the mayor's doing it.
That's right. Mayor's doing it. It's official. I don't even know where she's going. Oh. If she pulls her name, that's going to be bad.
By the way, have we mentioned that we are at the Q and Brew restaurant at the Silver Spur Resort in Canton,
What's the name?
half-mile north of the interstate on Highway 19. And we're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7. And if you miss the live taping of Hump Day Huddle, we can also be heard every Wednesday at noon and 5 p.m. on The Bee.
Poor
think-
David. People want to know who won.
Oh, yeah, the drawing.
All right.
Go ahead.
Is this Olin? Is there an Olin?
Olin, welcome back, Olin. Welcome back.
Olin has won the building.
He's a friend of the show.
Oh, he has not won. Sorry, you've not won the building. My bad. I got that wrong. Come on around here. Yeah, that's right. There's Holly.
These prizes keep getting better.
Holly Oxen free.
Congrats,
You
Olin.
got to have your picture made.
Oh, you got a picture made, Olin.
Hey, Olin, you got to have your picture
Got your
made.
picture made.
He's like, Olin's like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. All right. I need y'all to talk over the air just because I don't know if I can be heard.
Well,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think last week
We got another drawing.
Another drawing?
What are we giving away this time? The Doing a Day Spa. So this is a free gift at the Southern Serenity Day Spa.
Wow.
You go and you spin the wheel, and it's like, pick me a letter, Vanna. Or something to that effect.
This is the one I want.
Why am I not surprised? I bet there's a spouse waiting at home for you. You thought I was going to apply. That was you.
Okay.
Okay.
And the
My wife's here.
Drum roll, please. The
And
winner
what's
is
Emily Grimes.
Emily! Southern Serenity. Come on over, Emily.
She working.
Emily,
She's like, hold on. I got to get paid first. Hold on. That's Emily right over there. Let's see.
congrats, Emily.
Emily is one of your hard
You've won anyway.
right here. All right, Emily, right over there. You won a surprise gift at the Southern Serenity Day Spa.
It's a surprise.
Yes, we're not telling you.
yeah, because we don't even know what it is ourselves.
Bright smiling face. There we go. All right. One more drawing. One more, and then we'll do another one later.
The surprise
All right,
is we're just
now
kidding.
This one.
They've been teasing that birdhouse for like 3 weeks now.
Don't mess with me in the birdhouse,
Chicken coop
man.
or a
It's got
birdhouse?
an automatic squirrel ejector. All right. Hold on. We got one more that's got to sign up. But then we're going to do the drawing for the birdhouse with the automatic squirrel ejector. Hold on. We're going to do a little demo for you. Ready?
I'm not sure if it was a dream or a nightmare, but that thing was in my sleep the other night.
Oh, really?
That barn
Not woolly mammoth.
had horses in it.
Whoa.
Watch this.
Not sure. See? I guess the horses were getting
Put
tossed.
him on there.
That's a squirrel ejector.
Hold on. I got this figured out. Then he jumps down like this, and it's like, whoop, he's gone. You see that, right? If I got on it, it'd just go break. But y'all probably already figured that. You signed up? Okay.
It'd be a lot more fun if there was like an actual ejector. You could hold the remote button.
Do you have
That'd
a
be
winner?
funny.
No, she's still down there jibber jabbering.
Okay.
You know, mayors are always politicking.
Yes, that's right.
Come on, Mary. The suspense is killing us.
How many of you, while we're just waiting around, how many of you like to get like, you go into grocery or something, you get you some jalapeno jelly, put it on a little cream cheese,
Oh, yeah.
spread that across some crackers.
Has he been to my house? Who's been watching this?
Here's something called cowboy candy that you can get right here at First Monday. It's the one and only, the original cowboy candy, which is candied jalapenos. So I can't wait to try that later on some cream cheese and see how that turns out. Good. All right, drawn.
Who's the maker of that?
Who's the
Of-
Don? Don's making. He's in 4255. I remembered that.
Okay.
You believe that?
Okay.
Don Howell.
All right.
That's right.
Support
Out of
Don.
Shepherd,
All right.
Sheep Herder, Texas. All right. So
All right.
we're drawn. But we have a place called Sheep Herder.
I'm not sure that this is made for radio.
Maybe not. Well, it's on Facebook Live, so.
So anybody listening on the radio,
Caitlin Mitchell,
all right.
come on down. I knew that thing was going to end up at my house somehow. It's my stepdaughter. When you woke up this morning, did you think you would win a birdhouse as beautiful as this? No. No. Awesome.
Right, now you've got to come back and report on how this ejects squirrels.
Okay. I'm gonna add a squirrel ejector button to that.
Show the team. That's what I'm saying. Show that's good barbecue. Don't be wasting good barbecue.
Man, I'm
Just
gonna
saving it for later.
I'm gonna enhance that thing
Hey, you're in a barbecue joint.
with the
Everybody
controlled
should do it.
button that
Like
ejects the
like a
squirrel.
kid, like your key.
All right.
You just sit in the yard.
Engineer Ken, you ready for us to continue?
Nope, I'm looking at the stars.
Okay.
All right, now we're ready.
Okay.
Now you're looking at the stars.
All right.
See what he did there?
See what I got there?
That was terrible.
All right, gentlemen, why don't we move on and talk about another one of our teams that competed last Friday night. I had a nice little journey last Friday night to the big city of Center, Texas, about a 2-hour drive from here.
Whoa.
129 miles one way from Canton to Center.
You almost went to Louisiana.
I was 19 miles from the Louisiana border.
Okay.
Yeah. The Van Vandals were taking on the 10th ranked team in the state in Class 4A, the Center Rough Riders. And the two teams combined for 80 pass attempts,
Wow.
41 pass completions, and over 400 yards passing in the game. But wouldn't you know it, the game was ultimately decided by the right foot of a kicker. And it came down to the final play of the game, and the kicker for Center, 32 yards out, kicked the ball. It went high, straight, thought it was going to be short. And I think a sudden gust of wind must have appeared in the stadium. That ball somehow, some way, fell right over the crossbar by no more than a yard.
Oh, my.
But it was good, and that gave Center a 31-28 win over the Vandals.
It's a tough way to lose after you've driven 2 hours
Yes.
and fought really hard against the 10th ranked team in the division
Right.
and come up short on a
And I
field
will
goal.
tell you, on Facebook, I was told, my wife told me that on Facebook, people from Van were saying it did not make it over the bar.
It made it over the bar. I saw it from the sideline. It did. I was trying to keep it
That's
away.
fun. It's fun to
Looked
create that
like that
controversy.
guy on the her side. He's trying to get that home run to go.
Yeah,
Stay
Carlton
in.
Fisk.
Fist, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. But, no, it went through, and the final was 31-28. But I tell you, a lot of positives came out of that game for the Vandals.
Was there a controversial moment in the final drive there?
Well, yes, there was, as a matter of fact. Glad you brought that up, T.A. The final drive, the game-winning field goal drive for Center, they were backed up to their own 15-yard line at the start of the drive, and the running back for Center, Horace, that we've talked about, outstanding game he had, running up the middle, got hit about the 30-yard line, and it appeared that the ball had come loose. And a mad scramble for the ball, and Van have recovered the ball. It looks like the Vandals had the ball at the Center 30-yard line with about 2 minutes to go in a tie game.
Oh, man.
Then the officials got together, and there was a consultation right there in the middle of the field. It seemed to take 5 minutes. I'm sure it probably wasn't that long. It just seemed that way. Well, finally, the head referee comes out of that officials huddle, and he walks over to Coach Moffitt. And I was watching the facial expression of the referee. It's like, I really don't want to have to tell him what I'm about to tell him, but I got to tell him this.
Oh, boy.
And he comes over and tells Coach Moffitt, he says, Coach, I'm sorry, we blew it. It was a fumble, but while the ball was rolling on the ground, one of my officials on the other side blew his whistle. And at the time the whistle was blown, nobody had gained possession, and the official said that by rule, the down has to be replayed.
Inadvertent whistle.
Yes,
Ooh,
and
during a fumble scrum.
yes.
Oh.
And Coach Moffitt and I talked about this on the phone yesterday, and I asked him about it, and he said, you know, when the official walks over to you and says, I'm sorry, we blew the call, what more can you say?
Oh, man.
And so they replayed the down. The ball was placed back on the 15-yard line. You can guess what happened after that. They make the first down. The drive continues, and they move on down to the final game-winning kick.
Well,
But
boy, tough way to lose.
yeah, it was tough.
That's where you said, I'm assuming Horace should have been responsible for another fumble.
Well, yes. I think if we could look back at the film and say that's a fumble.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes. And then early in the game, Van suffered two really tough injuries. Starting quarterback Jackson Rainey got sacked early in the game, was tossed to the ground by the center defender, and he banged his head on the turf and came up dazed, obviously dazed. And so the decision was made at that point not to put him back in
The whole night?
the whole night.
Oh,
It's not
well, I
like
didn't
when
know
we were in
that.
school.
It was in the first quarter.
It's not like it used to be.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah. And
So
so Grant Lloyd, and if that name sounds somewhat familiar,
Wow.
Grant Lloyd made one start for the Vandals last season, and all he did was start against the state champion Carthage Bulldogs.
I do remember that.
Yes. And so Grant came in and really performed admirably.
Okay.
I thought. He had 17 completions, had over 200 yards in the game. Really did a good job in relief, and got better as the game went on. And then the Vandals suffered another injury in an area of the team they couldn't afford another injury, and that was in the offensive line. In the Lindale game, they lost their starting center, Omar Hernandez, to a knee injury that put him out for the season. And then Friday night, their starting right guard, Dalton Palmer, suffered a knee injury. He's having an MRI tomorrow, Wednesday. The prognosis was not good. And so they fear that they're going to lose him for the season as well.
Man, oh man.
So Friday night, Britton McKinney, in some plays, some series, was playing right tackle. Other series, he was playing right guard. At times, we had a freshman come in and play some right tackle. And so there were some different offensive line combinations going on through the game. This is while the backup quarterback is in the game.
Has Van – I don't recall Van – and I'm sure they have. I just don't recall Van playing freshman.
No. This is
that I can. I mean, literally not ever.
Only.
Yeah, I can remember just a handful through the years.
Yeah.
But it's not a normal thing.
Had Grant Lloyd been playing another position? Was he?
No. He was
strictly
strictly the backup quarterback. By the way, that freshman is Jose Suarez.
Okay.
And they have some high hopes for him down the road.
Good.
Now, moving forward, we'll see who's in the offensive line this week. They'll have an open date after this game coming up Friday night against Liberty Ilo. But let me mention, going back to the center game, that Javonte Thomas had another pretty good game for the Vandals.
No surprise there.
Javonte ended up with 13 carries, 57 yards. He had 3 rushing touchdowns, and all 3 of those rushing touchdowns came from the quarterback position. He didn't throw a pass the other night, but he had 3 touchdowns rushing, and you can call it the Wildcat formation or whatever you want to call it. But that's how he got his 3 rushing touchdowns.
He's a weapon because he's a threat to throw the ball. He's not just a Wildcat quarterback.
Right,
but his primary position is slot receiver.
Right.
And he caught 11 passes Friday night.
What?
Caught 11 passes
Boy.
and ran the ball 13 times. So he had
He was
24
busy.
total touches.
After and I forget his name, the starting quarterback got hurt. Was there any
Jackson Rainey.
After Rainey got hurt, did it appear to be contemplated to put him in, Thompson?
No, I don't think it was ever considered to put Javonte in. Although he started one game last year.
That's because he throws and runs. I mean, he can do it.
Well, we know he's had 2 games this year
yeah.
with the trifecta that we've talked about. But they brought Grant in, and he got better as the game went on, and they seem to have a pretty good package going on, short yardage and goal line with Javonte at quarterback and KD Erskine playing that running back position. He had 1 carry and got a first down. You know, it's always a first down or a touchdown with KD.
The bull formation.
The bull formation, that's right. But
you think about it, that kid Grant Lloyd, he probably got 5 practice snaps last week.
He's getting more this week.
Yes, he is. And he finds himself playing against the 10th ranked team in the state at their place.
And doing this, I mean, that's what's,
on the road, yeah.
This Van is going to be a measuring stick for our district. I mean, because they played Malakoff, Lindale, and now Center.
Yeah.
And they lost, but all those Malakoff maybe not so much, but they were in it.
Yeah.
With Lindale also.
It still tells you where you are.
Lindale and Center, they were behind. They came back. Behind and came back. But couldn't quite get over the hump in either game in the fourth quarter. I mean, Van had a drive that took them down to the 19-yard line early in the fourth quarter and missed on 4th down.
Oh, yeah.
So, overall, a lot of positives to take out of the game. But moving forward, talking to Coach Moffitt yesterday, he listed Jackson Rainey as questionable for this week.
So he's not in protocol then?
No.
That we know of?
No.
Okay.
But personally, just my opinion, the fact that you've got an open date after this game coming up,
Yeah.
I'm going to be personally surprised if he's on the field Friday night, but we'll see. But there's going to be some shuffling in the offensive line, potential for Grant Lloyd to be the starting quarterback this week.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. This is big week, homecoming week in Van, and they will welcome the Liberty ILO Leopards into town. And Liberty ILO has won 3 games in a row. They opened the season with a loss to Henderson. They had a cancellation on their schedule early due to coronavirus. And then they have come back with 3 straight wins. They've beaten Jefferson, Atlanta, and Waxahachie Live.
Okay.
And they come in with an outstanding running back. Seems like that's what Van runs into every week is an outstanding running back.
They always have athletes.
Liberty ILO has that, and as you say, athletes and lots of speed.
Mm-hmm.
And so this will be a great challenge for the Vandals again this week. Hopefully they can get a win, even that non-district record, and go into this open date on a high note.
Now, and just so I'm right, isn't Liberty ILO in the same district with Center?
Yes.
Am I wrong? Okay.
Center's in the same district with Carthage.
It's
Liberty ILO is in with Texarkana Pleasant Grove.
Okay. So
Okay.
In those two, like in the playoffs,
Yes.
both of those districts
Our
are
district-
with us.
Well, our district,
Wills Point.
our district plays Liberty ILO's district in the opening round.
The first, okay. Yes.
They're in with Carthage.
So
No,
and we're either gonna
Liberty
be
ILO's in with Texarkana Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So potentially, we'll be playing first round that district, second round Pleasant Grove's district, and then if we make it to the third round, that would be the next time we might see Wills Point if all that were to work out. But all of us are all in this same little region, and you have to. I mean, you have to know.
If you go far enough, you could.
You're going to
meet
play the
another-
state. If you're good enough, you're going to play the state champion in this region.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, you've got the 2 state champions from last year in the 2 classes of 4A
Yep.
in this region, and when they were realigning everybody, I was talking to Kenneth Pruitt about this, and he said, "How miserable would it be if you were Pleasant Grove and Carthage if they stuck in the same district?" Well, I went back and looked. In Pleasant Grove's district, they have who's in? They have another top 10 team in theirs, and there's 3 top 10 teams in Center and Carthage, and I think there's another top 10 team in their district.
Yeah, I
this
can
year.
tell you that Liberty ILO is in with Texarkana Pleasant Grove, Gilmer, Pittsburgh, Spring Hill, and Paris North Lamar.
Okay. So I mean, we have our district and Wills Point's district, if you want to call them the better districts to be in. But even in Wills Point's district, they have Caddo, and Caddo is legit right now. I mean, they're undefeated. This is not if you want to get an easy trip to state, this isn't the region to be in.
No,
and
it's
I guess
not.
it never
No.
has been. But
No, it's not. It's not.
Not as long as there's a PG and Carthage. And
Let me-
Carthage down in our division now.
Let
Yes.
me mention one other thing from the game last Friday night. The 2 teams combined for 15 punts. And Manny
goodness.
Moore for the Vandals punted 7 times and had a 42-yard average.
Well, they ran a lot of plays. If they punted 15 times and still
There
managed to
was,
score 28 and 31 points.
Yes, there was 134 plays from scrimmage
Okay,
Friday
yeah.
night. 68 for Van and 66 for Center.
Goodness.
that clock worker,
yeah.
he was working that.
Yeah.
Start,
and
stop.
we came that close to being an overtime game.
So yeah. Well, they passed the ball a lot, like you said. So
Yes.
And that makes 2 games that we've talked about this year, where there's been a play that was blown that made a difference in the game. One against Van and one in favor of Edgewood, where the center caught the conversion
Yes.
in an overtime. I mean, literally plays that
Just
changed the
yeah.
entire outcome of the game.
Ah,
So,
game changers. Yeah.
Yep. So let's move on now, and let's talk about another one of our teams. And, guys, we'll go whatever direction we want to go to talk about Edgewood or Wills Point.
whatever you want to do, TA.
Okay. We can talk some Edgewood.
Another team that won, by the way.
That's right. And the Bulldogs actually that's 3 in a row for the Bulldogs, and that's their first. If I'm not mistaken, that's their first district game. So they are 1-0 in district now.
That's right.
So Edgewood is 3-2. They defeated 1-3 Scurry last week by a score of 49-21. And it all started with that 4 overtime thriller that they pulled out back in Redwater 3 weeks ago, and they have not looked back since. So just some stats here from that game. I talked to Eric and Paul of Edgewood Bulldog Radio, and they indicated that first, the final score didn't really indicate the margin. Edgewood dominated that game start to finish, and the comment that they made was that the defensive line absolutely controlled things, and Scurry could get nothing going offensively. They had one dominant player, the running back, and they contained him, and otherwise they couldn't do much at all. They said 2 of the scores that Scurry actually got, the first one and the last one, those were maybe kind of fluky a little bit, you might say. So Edgewood is rolling. Some stats here. Hayden Wilcoxon, the sophomore quarterback that we've talked about, I'm hearing really good things about him week after week. Only threw for 108 yards. He was 4 of 8 with a touchdown. Rushing, the Bulldogs, their 2 leading rushers were Hayden Wilcoxon, as he has been. He ran it 18 times for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that young man is contributing in a big way. And to quote the guys in Edgewood, he's growing up before our very eyes. And Nate Sims also ran the ball 15 times for 82 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, Hudson Tyner, 1 catch for 55 yards, but it was a touchdown. So Taylor Turner, 2 catches for 52 yards. And so the Bulldogs ran away with that one. Total of 417 yards on offense, and it was a good way to open the district there. So now they will move on to Blooming Grove.
Road trip.
Week 2 or second game of their district. And I'll tell you, something happened in that district last week, and you know where I'm going with this. Mm-hmm. There was an upset.
Yes.
And as you know, Palmer is the preseason favorite to win that district, and they're a good football team. And they messed around and got beat by Rice.
Overtime, I believe.
Yes, in overtime. And Rice was behind, and I may get the details wrong with this a little bit, but there was an injury to, I believe, their quarterback, and one of their best players got ejected from the game. Their best player, who's a big difference maker. And next thing you know, Rice comes back and beats them in overtime. So that puts a little bit of a fly in the ointment for Palmer. Now that they have a district loss now. And if you remember last week, I told you that the guys over in Edgewood felt like the Bulldogs had a legitimate chance to win this district, and I commented even with Palmer in that district. So this puts them one step closer now to having that come true. But they got the Blooming Grove Lions. Last year, the Bulldogs took care of the Lions 55-24. This year, Blooming Grove is 3-2 coming in. Like we said, it's at Blooming Grove. If you look at their schedule, just to kind of get an idea of who they played and what that 3-2 record really means, they opened up their season with 2 wins. They beat 2-2 Eustis and 1-4 Kearns, and then back-to-back losses to 3-1 West, 2-3 Kemp, and then got a win last week against Mildred, who's 2-3. Their total strength of schedule of their opponents is 10-13. So if whatever you can draw from that, they're somewhat balanced. I don't think all their stats were in, but I could see enough. Looks like they're averaging 188 yards a game rushing, 139 passing. So slightly rush heavy, but 327 yards a game total offense. And so by comparison, if you look at the 2 teams just by the numbers, when I looked over this last night, I thought, wow, these teams are really, on paper, look really even. Their record's the same, 3-2. Their regional ranking, Edgewood's 14, Blooming Grove is 19. But the big disparity is between points scored and points allowed. Edgewood is averaging 34 points a game. Blooming Grove is averaging 14 a game. Big disparity there. But points allowed, Edgewood is allowing 34 a game, and Blooming Grove allowing only 14 a game. So this is going to be whether Edgewood's offense can impose their will on Blooming Grove's defense or vice versa. Now, a lot of that average in Edgewood's points allowed, that came early in the season. And we know the first 2 games were kind of tough. So that's a little bit misleading. When you look at strength of schedule, Edgewood is 10-10. Like I said, Blooming Grove 10-13. Their yards per game, Edgewood 312, Blooming Grove 327. They're very similar on paper. So the thing I see different, though, is Edgewood has really got momentum going.
Yes.
And that makes a big difference. So they will go to Blooming Grove, play the Lions, and try to get things, get another win.
Here's the thing they got to watch out for.
Okay.
Is next week they get Palmer at home.
Yes.
And I know there's already a lot of conversation about that matchup next week. So Edgewood has got to be careful not to be looking ahead and concentrate on Blooming Grove this week.
And, you know, it almost feels like if they could take care of business against Blooming Grove this week.
Yes.
And get over there and
Carry
take
the
care of
momentum.
Palmer. Yeah.
Carry the momentum.
They're going to put some
Suddenly,
distance between themselves.
Early on in
Yeah.
the district season. So
Exactly.
there's going to be that opportunity, and you know they know that.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting in the next 2 weeks for the Bulldogs and Coach Bachtel. I tell you, year after year, he has them ready, and you know he is. He knows about success over there. He doesn't disappoint.
Right. Right.
So no injuries that I know of. So that's a good thing. So we say good luck to the Edgewood Bulldogs as they travel to Blooming Grove on Friday night.
Well, we have 2 more teams that we want to discuss, but let's take a break and talk about some more of our sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk about the Wills Point Tigers and their big win that they had. And then the one team that did not play last week was the Canton Eagles, and they have a big road trip coming up. So we're going to talk about them in just a moment. But first of all, we want to recognize some more of our sponsors. We want to say thank you to Wills Point Chevrolet at 903-873-2561, located at 660 Houston Street in Wills Point. We're brought to you by Legacy Ag Credit, financing your legacy, financing for rural land, country homes, operating capital, farms and ranches, livestock and equipment, 903-567-2251. We're brought to you by Exit Realty Pro, located at 1445 South Buffalo in Canton, 903-567-7777. We're brought to you by Higginbotham Brothers, located at 221 Texas Highway 243 in Canton, 903-567-4077, your Ace Hardware dealer. We're brought to you by Wills Point Ford. What matters to you matters to us. 618 Houston Street in Wills Point, 903-873-2511. We're brought to you by M Squared Management, Property Management and Rentals, 1435 South Buffalo Street in Canton, 903-502-0202. We're brought to you by Taylor Automotive at 27928 Highway 64 in Canton, 903-567-3948. And we're brought to you by the Legacy Dental Group, Family Dentistry, Cosmetic Dentistry, Oral Surgery, Orthodontics, Sedation Dentistry, located at 240 East Highway 243 in Canton, 903-508-2923. I'm David Barber, Van Zandt News sports correspondent, joined by T.A. Hale from the Buzz Brothers, Joel Elliott, the counselor, Engineer Ken, and the mayor and Queen Bee, Luann Everett, as well as Holly is with us tonight. And it is time, Engineer Ken, to do some more drawings.
That's right. We like drawings, right, everybody?
Absolutely.
And, go for it.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about, an applause. That makes me happy. And I didn't even have to dance. Okay. We're going to go on
Okay.
to Wills Point Tigers because we have non-ticketers.
All right, we need to discuss the Wills Point Tigers as well as the Canton Eagles. So why don't we talk about Wills Point? Big win, first win of the season for their first-year coach, and a big win at home over Paris North Lamar. I believe it was homecoming night in Wills Point.
It was.
And 21-0 was the final score. So, Joel, fill us in on what happened.
All right, talked to Coach Pointer on Sunday. Obviously, he was excited and happy, as well he should be, and they have, I believe he had told me they have 19 seniors, I think. It was a homecoming win. The majority of those kids got playing time. We talked about it. He said that, of course, they had this game against North Lamar. They don't have a game next week. I was going to try to get him in here to come talk to us.
Right.
He's getting down to business. He's not going to come talk on the radio. Next week, they're going to treat it just like a normal week, and they're going to practice just like normal because he's wanting to keep this thing going and get ready for district, which is going to be coming up after his bye week.
We should have bribed him. We should have offered to pay him. He wants money. Yeah, he's not doing this for free.
Maybe give him a door prize.
Is there another bird feeder?
Yeah. Somebody get a bird feeder.
That's right.
All right.
He said that when I talked to him on Sunday, he said that they'd done the film review, and he said that, going through and looking at first down, third down, and things like that, he said the main difference in the game was that Wills Point had more explosive plays. There wasn't any score in the first quarter. I think they scored twice in the second quarter. And for the entire game, they held Paris North Lamar to less than 100 yards offense.
Wow.
And
What, you said for the entire game?
for the entire game.
That is impressive.
Strong.
So the defense stepped up and played, and we talked about that being kind of the thing that they've been doing best is, and it's easier to install a defense than an offense. He said, but the offense stepped up and got it done. He said the kids played as hard as he's seen them, executed the best he'd seen it all year. And he said, but the key to the game for Wills Point this week was popping big plays. So they also, he said they're healthy, and they have the week off, but they're going to treat it like a regular week. And we had talked about this earlier. I don't know if you want to talk about it now. The schedule.
Yeah, we
changes.
can talk about it now, or if you got any more information on the game you need to share.
Well,
And upcoming.
this was
And upcoming.
Okay, so the defense stepped up, held them to less than 100 yards, and this was the first shutout win for Wills Point since November of 2016 against Ferris.
Interesting. Okay.
So
Wow.
this was a really good week for them. We talked about it, and I know that there's a lot of districts that are trying to shuffle and fix things, and even before I say that, there's a guy that was at the Canton Sanger game named Matt Diggs that writes for them, and I was talking about last week. He had said that he got on the Dave Campbell Texas Football score page, and he searched for final, and there were 531 hits, and he searched for canceled games, and there were 27 hits. He said so 95.2% of the games that were supposed to be played in Texas
Were
were played.
Right.
To which I responded, that's great for everybody unless you're one of the teams that seems to be scrambling every week.
Yeah.
And it seems like just in our district alone, you had said Brownsboro, and I didn't know this till we got here.
Yeah.
This will be
game
their
with
third
Yes.
game canceled for coronavirus.
Yes.
Canton, we all kind of got a scare the Friday of the Caddo game. We thought that game wasn't going to get played. It was able to be played. Caddo missed the next week for coronavirus with kids on their team positive. None of our kids turned up positive. Then the next week, Maybank canceled because of I was
We just
nice
don't
last
know.
week.
We just don't know, Joe.
I know. I know they didn't want to play us. And I will
That's what
call
I'm going
them
with.
out. So next year, every kid from Canton, no matter where we have to play them, they need to scorch the field with Maybank. So I guess what I'm trying to point out here, as far as the scheduling changes that are coming up, if you're in these districts where there have been no cancellations, it may not seem like a big deal to
Right.
you. But it seems like all around us, this is popping up, especially in our district. So
It's good to know that that's not the rule statewide, though, that a small percentage of teams are getting canceled on, but the great majority are playing uninterrupted for the most part.
That's true.
Is
It
what
is,
that sounds
it is.
like.
It-
But it's hit close to home for us.
It has.
It's been disrupted.
It has.
To which he responded, "Calm down, it'll be okay. Oh, Christmas Tree will be playing again soon."
Yeah.
So
I get that.
the other thing, and I'm not sure if the statistics that are on Dave Campbell Texas Football are accounting for rescheduled games, because that may take out the canceled
Oh, yeah.
and come back with a completed. And one of the problems that they're having, and Diggs and Stepp and all the other sports writers are around trying to help these schools connect across Texas.
Yes.
And that's when you have, like us, Sanger and Canton And at one point, Brownsboro was scheduled to play Sweetwater in Aledo.
Yes.
So, I mean, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have these connections through social media and the internet to where you're truly getting teams from all over that are working things out, and then other people, opening up their stadiums. So everybody's cooperating to try to fix it. But, for us, the reality has hit to where my son went and watched the Grand Slam game Friday night along with our kicker.
The Hammer.
Goodson. He has family that graduated from there too. So they were all over there watching the game, and both of them sitting there. They're like, "This is weird." We're supposed to be. We practiced for.
Sure.
We're supposed to be playing tonight.
Sure.
So if you have a scheduled off week, then you've prepared yourself for it, and your kids have kind of wrapped their head around it. When you get canceled on a Wednesday, and just like with the Sanger team, you've been practicing for the wing tee, then you show up and they're all over the place, spread out. Getting to play is great, but that's different. And then when you just lose a game altogether, it's harder, I think, on the kids than the parents actually realize.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Let's talk about those schedule changes for Wills Point and their district. The District 6-4A Division II Executive Committee had a meeting Friday, is my understanding, but they didn't announce any decisions until yesterday. And basically what they have done is that they have moved 2 district games to different dates. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but all of the district games that were scheduled for October 23rd have now been moved to Thursday, October 22nd.
Yes.
All of the district games that were scheduled for Friday, October 30th have now been moved to Wednesday, October 28th. One thing they did not vote on but have left the door open on this is that the final week of the season, the district game scheduled for Friday, November 6th could be moved to Saturday, November 7th. So what you're going to end up with in the final 3 weeks of the district season is games being played on Thursday, the 22nd, Wednesday, the 28th, possibly Saturday, the 7th.
Are they trying to create a spot at the end to make up a game?
To make up for a game if they need
Yes.
to. Now, in saying that, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it before the show, but what other districts have done, and I've seen it, and I've even asked Matt Stepp about this, and he just responded, it's up to the district.
Right.
There's other districts where if you are the team that cancels, you lose. Period.
Yeah.
There's not a makeup week. The coaches aren't even going to attempt to do that. Which, and I said this earlier. I don't even think we were on the air. This actually brings in another factor on being able to be your playoff contender or district champion.
Right.
I mean, because if Carthage were to be in a district where they're not rescheduling, and if you cancel, you lose, that could really hurt them. And the thing that I think it's kind of, I mean, because everybody can have their opinion about it, but if you're in the playoffs and you're scheduled to play a team and you're like, man, this isn't going to be an easy week, and then they get coronavirus, you just advance. And I'm assuming that's how it could play out, because I don't know how all of these are being done by district committee meetings. How are we going to, unless UIL comes up with a plan, I don't know how we're going to change the playoffs to put in open spots to fix these problems.
And let's mention that these district executive committees are made up of the superintendents of the district. The superintendents had the final say-so on any scheduling changes. I'll read you a statement real quick that I got from my sports editor, David Capitan, that he got from Wills Point ISD about these scheduling changes. And the statement reads, the purpose of the scheduling change is to ensure time is available at the end of the season to make up any missed or canceled games. The District 6-4A committee unanimously decided on these changes. That's put out by Wills Point ISD. So right now, we don't have any interruptions that we're aware of, but they're getting ready in case.
And we all know, and I don't know if we discussed it last week, but there was a district meeting for our District 7.
Yes.
And
no vote was taken. Right.
Which I think from the outside looking in presumes we're going to leave it like it is.
But that was before Canton had their scheduling issues.
It was requested by Brownsboro.
It was requested by Brownsboro. That's correct.
And it had merit to it. We can see it.
And
But,
and whether they come back and meet again,
good.
we'll see.
And again, if they don't, I think that, not being knocked out for COVID is going to be a factor for districts that don't do that.
If you leave it up to the district to decide themselves, and they go to the if you forfeit, you lose format, that's going to encourage teams to conceal potential cases.
It is.
That's what's going to happen.
Let's mention real quick that Wills Point is off this week.
Yes.
They will open district play next week at Nevada Community. So wish the Tigers well.
Sure do.
Another factor on the coronavirus that I've learned, if a student has a family member that lives in their household that tests positive, they're quarantined for 2 weeks. They will miss 2 games. So if you're a student and you are completely fine and normal and healthy, and your brother, mother, father, if you're any other family member lives in that household and they get it, it doesn't matter if you test negative. Doesn't matter if you go get a test 3 days in a row. I was told it was the CDC rules or whatever. The state's rules are that you have to quarantine for 14 days before you're allowed to go back to school.
I don't get it.
Boy.
All right.
You know about coronavirus?
I don't get it. I'm too slow to catch it. Ask me, I was a lineman. Too slow to catch it. Hey, but CDC guideline says this many days. Because I thought it was 14. Looked it up today, dealt with somebody, actually 10 days.
Can you count? Do you know how many that is?
That's 14.
That's
I don't even like you, TJ.
well, if he takes his shoe off, you know he's going to get there.
Yeah, I think I'm better than everybody.
All right. Now we need to talk about the one team that didn't play last Friday night.
Oh, we hadn't
Okay.
even talked about them yet?
We hadn't talked about the Canton Eagles.
They're-
Let's do a drawing for people leave.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
You
okay.
want to do a drawing? Go ahead and do a drawing.
Thank you. I'm so glad.
And then I've got another round of sponsors to recognize.
Why am I not surprised? Did I say that out loud? All right, here we go.
We've got another drawing. What are we drawing for?
Southern Serenity Day Spa surprise gifts.
Okay.
Surprise.
I mean,
And the winner is
Terry Stevens. Terry Stevens. Terry could have left by this time.
you got to be here.
Oh, man.
Got to be present to win, Terry. Got another drawing. Here we go. Wait, you got people outside. Well, they hear us. Sean Davis.
Come on down, Sean.
Sean over there. Sean is back there. Sean is in the kitchen cutting up the chicken.
Come on, Sean.
Come on out here. Hold on. Let's
Yeah.
he looks like he needs Southern
The day
Serenity
spa. That's right. Come on, Sean.
Good job, man.
It's a surprise.
Sean, just so you know, we are so going to have you taken care of. You can come out there, you can spin the wheel, you can win a free gift or something. What?
The
Don't look at
surprise
me
is
like
they've got
that.
no openings.
I'm not judging. That's what I'm talking about.
Congratulations.
Hold on.
Sean,
We got
enjoy.
One more Southern Serenity Day Spa to give away. How many more do we have?
One more.
Really? Only 3 of you got that right? That was an open book test?
And where's this located?
Baruski.
I'm about to tell you that, T.
You are good. Okay.
Boy,
All right.
you're not going to believe this. This guy turned 23 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All
All
right.
right, we need to get a picture made here.
Getting that picture made. Turned 23 today for the 23rd time.
All right.
All right, let me mention some sponsors, and then we're going to talk about the Canton Eagles.
Canton Eagles.
All right.
sponsors.
Canton Guns and Ammo. We want to thank them for being a sponsor on Hump Day Huddle. They're located at 1190 Trade Days Boulevard in Canton, 903-502-5023. We're brought to you by Hall Chevrolet Buick GMC in Canton, 903-567-4106. We're brought to you by Dean Kubota, Wills Point, and Forney. Wills Point is 903-873-2451. Forney is 972-552-3151. We're brought to you by City Barbershop, 101 North 4th Street in Wills Point, 903-873-2977. And we're brought to you, and you've heard them mentioned several times here this evening, the Southern Serenity Day Spa at 11020 North Commerce Street in Wills Point, 903-873-7133. And we're brought to you by Stone Age. Dennis Chitty, 972-567-5224. His office is located in Garland, Texas. I'm David Barber, Van Zant News sports correspondent, joined by T.A. Hale from the Buzz Brothers, the counselor Joel Elliott, engineer Ken, the mayor and Queen Bee, Lou Ann Everett. Holly is in the building with us tonight. One more team we need to discuss, the only team in Van Zant County that did not play this last Friday night, but will be back in action this week. The Canton Eagles have a long road trip coming up to Hillsboro, Texas. T.A., fill us in.
Yes, and they are itching to get back on the football field, don't you know? I texted Coach Hubble. Actually, I texted him yesterday and today and said, any need to be concerned? He said, I'm trying not to be. If you'd quit texting me would help. So I like that response. So just for our listeners, the game was canceled last week against Ferris on Wednesday, and Coach Hubble tried hard to put together another game and scrambled around, had a couple of things that fell through.
Homecoming week.
Oh, yeah, nonetheless, homecoming week. So homecoming has been rescheduled to October the 23rd versus Brownsboro.
I don't mean to get you off track.
Okay.
But I was asked today, are they going to have another parade?
I didn't say. I was thinking the same thing.
I was
No.
thinking it, but I don't know.
No.
The mayor says no.
Oh, no. I was told that, at least we got that much of it done. This was by a teacher. So.
Okay.
Man, I thought they could get double use out of those dresses that they paid for, all that money for, but
absolutely.
I guess not. So, okay. All
Okay.
right.